Very detailed introduction, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So today's topic will be is my slide visible, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So application of AI and ML in healthcare industry. These are the contents I'll be covering here. That is applications of healthcare and depending applications. And another important area is drug discovery. So how AI and ML has given, finding new drugs, how it is helpful for the current medical industry, and smartwatches and DICOM standards, different standards are there, and blockchain for healthcare. And there are mobile and the game apps are there for health industry. So I'll be talking about all those things with a few examples. So what is AI is nothing but making the machines to think. So that is we call it as AI. So here the AI is to imitate the human intelligent behavior in the machine. So simply we can say that making the machines to think. And in machine learning, it's a part of AI where we have the data and it has to learn it by processing the data and generate the output. So that is a difference between AI and ML. So how it AI in healthcare industry, how it is evolved us. Uh, See, they started with recommending expert systems and all those things. Decision support systems are the initial systems which is developed for healthcare industry. Then they have after the we have the systems microprocessor and the PCs have came up. Then we have a lot of tremendous works are going on in the healthcare industry. So like gene genome sequencing from 2010 to 19. So we have genome sequencing, electronic health records, and natural language processing, computer vision, robot-assisted surgery, and all those things. The current current AI in healthcare is they are working with drug discovery using AI and ML and clinical research, personalized healthcare, and personalized healthcare. So these are the areas where people are currently working on. So personal healthcare is like smartwatches and all those things where we get uh, personalized recommendations and also to monitor the patients and all those things. So that is the current trend in healthcare industry. So what is the benefits of AI in health AI? So why we need AI and ML machine learning algorithms for healthcare industry? It's because we need the another what do you say second opinion. Okay, so that's for that purpose they use AI and ML and finding the experienced versus fresh clinician or doctor. So it is not available right now. So most of the we need when we want to have a good what is it better recommendations or better judges, decisions making. So doctors, we should have more experience, then only they can make a better decisions. So experienced persons are not available. So for that purpose, nowadays they are using AI and decision support systems for taking second opinion, and availability of expert also very less. So 20 for all these purposes, nowadays they're using decision support systems and other machine learning and AI techniques are used in healthcare industry. And another thing is early diagnosis. So for all this purpose, nowadays they are using medical imaging and all other diagnostic methods. And it also provides effective treatment. And we can also take a feedback on the treatment and all those things. Everything can be managed easily. And other benefits are, so we can reduce the errors, diagnostic errors. Sometimes the doctors may not able to identify some of the some of the diseases and all those things. So the AI systems can make predictions that it may be in early stage like that, early stage of the cancer and all those things. So we can also reduce the errors and all those things. And it saves a huge cost savings. because instead of after taking on X-ray or any CT scanner and all those things, if you analyze it with the system, so later we need not to take multiple. We need not to ask the patient to come for another few examinations unnecessarily. So we can use the with the help of the decision support systems or these computer-based AN ML techniques. So we can analyze the data, existing data, and we can predict the level of cancer or any other thing. So it saves the cost, avoiding unnecessary taking the frequent CT or X-rays and all those things can be avoided. And it also gives useful information to maintain, and we can predict which area they are having more number of such diseases are happening and all those things. They can take preventive measures. Something can be done using the past data, and we can make a real-time predictions, and we can, that is a health risk alert. That's why I say. So some places we may have some frequent diseases may happen in a particular month, maybe during a rainy season or and some other seasons. Then all those things, the data, we have a data, so we can predict those next year the same I mean the similar disease may spread during a particular month, so they can take a preventive health risk and all those things. So all those things can be done with the help of the these AI and ML based systems. And one of the areas AI in medicine is the physical branch. So other than using the computer-based AI and ML techniques, so there are devices are used in medical field and healthcare field. So that will assist in healthcare industry. So like physical objects, medical devices, robots are used for surgery and smartwatches. So here we have not only the smartwatches, here we have location navigation, and smartwatches will also, nowadays we're reading a lot of news saying that Apple was smartwatches helped the persons. A lot of, even recently from Mumbai or something, some one lady, she got a irregular heartbeat. So it signaled the user that you have some, go for health checkup like that. So based on that, they checked and they found that it's in the early stage of, I mean, blockage is there, right? Blockage is there and all those things. So these cardiac measurements and everything are done using various devices and all those things. And a lot of sensors are available. So those are all medical devices which can extract useful information from the patient or ECG and all those things. So and also robots are used for surgery. So these are the physical objects, physical branch where the AI uses in the healthcare industry. So what they do is with the help of the data extracted. So in the case of smartwatches, so once we have a data, the system will, the smartwatch itself will analyze the past data, and based on the past data, it will analyze and it will find any variation is there, then it will alert the user. So there they use AI and ML techniques to analyze the collected data will be analyzed and they will predict some useful information out of it. So that's where they use along with this physical devices. So these are some of the applications related to physical branch. And another one is called as a care bots. So care bots is for elderly and individuals, for elderly people and individuals. They are nowadays care bots are very famous in Japan and China. So what they do is these care bots or robots or the apps or anything, it can provide you medicine reminders. So if you want to take a particular medicine every uh, morning, a particular time you have to take the medicine, and even night also you have to take a medicine. It will give the reminder for taking the medicine. And if the old age people, it will guide them to the bathroom, or in case of any emergency situation, it will call the emergency contacts. So care bots are getting very famous in China and Japan and these places. They have robots which will assist the mostly for elderly people, and also some people who are individuals who have some disorder or stress or any such diseases. So for them also these care bots are currently used. And this is a movie which is based on how AI affects our lifestyle. The movie name is Her. And here they talk about it won a lot of awards. If you have not seen it, you can kindly see this. So how a digital equipment or digital device helps in it changes our lifestyle. Okay, so that is about the Her movie. So in this movie, the hero got divorced and he buys a digital assistant. It's like a mobile or some device. So it has a OS, it's a new OS which understand and it learns along with the user. So the OS name is Samantha. So that's why I put a Samantha photo here. So this OS Samantha, the OS name is Samantha, and it will try to learn based on the user preference and everything. And later, the person got in love with this operating system or the digital device. So it become a part of his life. So that's about this movie. So you can think about, it's how it is. Digital devices are getting involved in our life and it's a part of our life. And there are so many companies which work on healthcare. All the top companies like Microsoft, Google, IBM, and everything, they are working on various for healthcare industries. And Microsoft, they have a predictive analysis system, a very huge computing power for vision care analysis. And Google supports breast cancer diagnosis. They have a separate cloud center or the supercomputing power they have, which helps the medical hospitals to analyze the breast cancer diagnosis and all those things. And IBM Watson, it is very famous for drug discovery. So they have supercomputer for drug discovery. So, and other than that, they also provide a lot of AI machine learning algorithms or the support. They have the apps and all those things. So, which provides support for precision medicine or personal health management. So, in these areas, they have a lot of tools they have. So in hospital and medicine, so where and all AI artificial intelligence is used. So it is used in various areas. That is in the training. So when we want to train the medical experts or the medical students, so they will not nowadays they are using virtual models or they are not using the physical models. They're using virtual models to explain them in an effective manner. So they use video-based training or simulation environment and all those things. So they use AI and machine learning algorithms are used to manage the training and effectively. And for research, they use AI and ML. And for life care, personalized life care, that is to manage the person's making reminders and manage them taking medicines or all those things. So personalized life care, they have A&ML is used in healthcare industry. And for treatment, so for cancer analysis and medical images and all those things. So and for early detection of any diseases, so based on the data we can analyze, we can detect the early diseases. And for diagnosis, decision making. So all these places is used in healthcare industry. So the same thing here in detail, like detection, diagnosis, and prediction of diseases. We can take it as like medical images, breast cancer, brain tumor, and Alzheimer's disease, and all those things. And drug discovery, it is a very another important area because in this pandemic situation, so for COVID-19, we got the medicine after a year, on 1 year, we have the vaccine. So, but that is possible only because of the supercomputing power is available. They can analyze the various compounds and all those things, chemicals, and they can finalize with the required drug for this disease. So it is taking one year period, but without the machine learning and all those things, supercomputing power, it will take the normal period. It will take us down to 10 years. So initially, the old diseases like polio and other diseases which are spread, they would have taken the vaccine only after 10 years, they would have made the vaccine. But nowadays, we are able to get the vaccine within a 1 year period after several clinical trials and all those things. And another area is personalized medicine. That's already I mentioned about it. And we have medical imaging, genome analysis. Genomics is DNA and RNA and analysis and all those things, microanalysis. And another area, important area is logistics. So in logistics is so the medical field they are facing with main problem is with fake drugs and fake medicines, correct? So for that, nowadays they're implementing blockchain technology for supply chain management. One of the application of blockchain is for supply chain management. So in case of healthcare industry, for the logistics, where at all logistics will happen, so there and all they can use this blockchain. And one application is like when you have medicines prepared or drugs manufactured, it reads to the medicine or to the customer, they can track it using a blockchain. So they can avoid any fake medicines and all those things can be avoided. And we have dermatology, mental health, speech patterns, scientific speech patterns, and for diabetes, radiologists, cancer research, brain tumors, and telemedicine. These are the various areas where we have AI is used in healthcare industry. So the same thing I already mentioned before. So AI is used in all the treatment and everywhere their diagnosis to early detection to research training and everywhere we have AI is used in healthcare industry. So this is keeping well. So here we have health monitoring tools. So wearable health trackers like smartwatches and all those things, keeping well, how to managing our health. I mean, we need not to go to the doctor every time. So we can have smartwatches or these devices which can monitor your heart rate and other measures. So it can show you any irrelevant data is there and all those things. So you can generate and all that. Then smartwatches. So nowadays, a lot of works are going on. A lot of companies are working with smartwatches to incorporate more and more sensors into their smartwatches. So we have heard about Apple smartwatch as saved a man life after he fell from a bike or from cliff. He fall down from a cliff and sudden fall is detected with Apple Watch. And since there is no movement of his hand or anything, it generated an SOS alert and they may send with the location. They can able to track that person and save his life. So a lot of things are happening with smartwatches. And here, the smartwatches is the future of healthcare. Nowadays, all the companies are working on smartwatches because they want make the smartwatches to have so many sensors so that it can everything can be personalized. They can monitor it everything. So without going to the hospital. So here, not only the fitness and fall detection, these are the some of the sensors they or the information we get it from the smartwatches. And also we have biometric sensors, health monitoring, we have BP, heart rate, and even some nervous related metrics are analyzed here. And it also used for sleep tracking. So whether the person is sleeping properly, 6 to 7 hours minimum sleep is required. So whether he has a proper sleep or not. So everything it is tracked. Everything is using smartwatches. And nowadays they're going with AI and IoT based. So what they do is when the data we collected from all these sensors, so using the past data, how we can analyze those data and we can have some meaningful information out of it. So for that, there are people are working with AI and machine learning algorithms for smartwatches. It's another booming area, and they are incorporating more and more sensors into the smartwatches. This is one of the main application area in the healthcare industry. And early detection nowadays for cancer society and the cancer medicine, everything nowadays the people are working with the deep learning algorithms and all those things. So mammogram is one of the research. A lot of works have been going on for early detection of the breast cancer and other cancers also. So, so this is medical imaging diagnosis. So we'll skip this. And for decision making, so for decision making, like the second opinion, okay, so they can take use the computer system, or the decision predictions can be used as a decision making before taking final decision, because of non-availability of more experts. So they can use that the the decisions by the systems, and they can use it as a second opinion to make a final decision. And for treatment, they use for finding the drugs and everything, precision medicine, and using the DNA analysis and all those things. They are using AI in healthcare industry. And for monitoring the, personalized medicine, okay, to monitor the taking the drugs properly, medicine management, we call it as medication management or client adherence. So they have an app, so that app will monitor and they'll give the reminders to the user, and it will monitor the patient, so automatically, so it will give the prescription and or other medicines to be taken, those things. And if they have any symptoms, you can put there, and it will give the suggestions whether to go for hospital and what treatment can be taken. So another area what already we said is robot-based assisted surgery. So already a lot of things are work is going on in this. Okay. Yeah. So in public, and we can divide them into the applications into these areas. So not only in the personalized medicine for humans, even for veterinary sciences, they have virtual form, and they can simulate the environment, and they can test the various things, and genomics, and we have different robotics, nanotechnologies are there, and for laboratory, and what is public and community health, and mainly for medical e-learning technologies. So nowadays, a lot of works are going on for virtual medical school. So where they can train the students and using virtual medical school. So that is what a lot of works are going on in the healthcare industry. And these are the various companies which works on different areas. It is like AI chatbots, telemedicine, lifestyle management, and we have a disease management, medical records. So medical records also we need to maintain. Nowadays they are maintaining only in digital format. So we need to transcript the doctor's advice and everything, prescription and everything, and to show it in a proper record and all those things. So a lot of companies are working in creating electronic health records. So a lot of research work can be done on that electronic healthcare records. And with the data, patient data, and all those things, we can do data analytics and analysis. And we have medical imaging for cancers, hospital management system. So for managing the all full hospital, so from registration to treatment and everything, we need a hospital management system. And for genetic research and clinical trials and all those things, drug discovery. So all these places we have AI is used. And also for specific for skin care, women's health, mental health, a lot of apps are there for mental health, and personalized medicine, and we have wearable devices. So several, these are the various research areas where the AI is used in healthcare industry. So we are for working with images, medical images. We have MATLAB or OpenCV, or we can use Python programming and all those things. And there are IDL and Chorus. These other tools are available for image processing. It is not famous like MATLAB or OpenCV or Python. And for medical imaging, we have separate standards are there. That is a DICOM, and few other standards are there where you can do a lot of research on those standards. It's like you can not only on storing the data compressed format securely, we can also store the patient details along with these images. So there, how we can store the patient details effectively, and so all those things, encryption and other research can be done on those standards. And I already said about drug discovery. So drug discovery, this is a general trial method, trial and approval method. So here you can see it has a drug discovery. First you have to analyze the compound. So they're taking with 15,000 compounds and we have to find a single drug. From this one compound, we have to find the final compound. So they try with 15,000 variation of compounds and they have preclinical trial and final clinical trial. And finally, FDA has to approve it, the medicine. So this analysis of drug discovery, it takes 6.5 years and preclinical trial will take 7 years time and clinical trials take 1.5 years. And this is totally, it comes around 14 to 15 years of time. But nowadays we have the drug discovery, that is MyCare21 is one of the supercomputing based drug discovery process. So which is a supercomputing based on supercomputer. It can analyze uh, in computer and simulate and it will analyze the compounds and you can get the final one drug to the market. So here the normal process, standard drug discovery process, they can analyze only 20,000 compounds. But here I think we can analyze 30 lakh compounds can be analyzed here. So this we can see only 20,000 compounds are analyzed in normal discovery process, but here we are analyzing 30 lakhs compounds. And here it takes normally 2 to 3 years time or 4 years time. But here we can do it using the supercomputers and all those things. We can do it in days and weeks. And finally, we can get only the clinical trial. This clinical trial may be done physically. I mean, the normal process it takes 6 months time. But remaining the simulations and everything, analyzing the compounds and everything will be done in supercomputing. So it takes lesser time to finally get a single drug. That's why we are able to get for COVID drug, we get it in a period of time, in a period of 1 year. So I said about the DICOM standard. So there are various standards, formats, standard for medical images. It is one is a DICOM standard. There are other standards are there. So DICOM, NIFTI, and Analyze. These are all most used standards in medical imaging field. And there are other formats like NRRD, PAR-REC, that is a Philips format, and MINC. This is another format which are used in medical imaging industry. So here what they do is if you go to a clinic and to take a CT scan or anything, they'll send it to the hospital. So in that time, they send the data in a particular format. It will not be as generalized images or all those things. They may send it in a DICOM or Nifty or any of these formats they used to send the data. So that's why these a lot of works can be done on these formats on image, storing the images effectively, encryption, and securing saving the patient data securely. So all those things can be done in this area, in these standards. So now next one is how is blockchain a little bit revolutionizing the healthcare industry. So in the healthcare industry, blockchain, we know that blockchain is used for cryptocurrency, but there are a lot of applications are there for blockchain. Another one of the main example is like supply chain management. To track, if you want to track a courier from the starting position to the delivered to the customer, you can use a blockchain. So that is the supply chain management can be tracked. It's one of the application of blockchain. Similarly, there are other applications, especially for healthcare industry. So in healthcare industry, blockchain can be used in all the fields. That is digital identity management, maintaining the patient details or doctor or the hospital details and everything. And for supply chain management, as already I said, for the drugs or the manufacturing the drugs and all those things from manufacturer to till reaches the customer, we can track it using a blockchain. And the financial insurance records. So in case of claim, medical claims and all those things, there are possibility of using multiple claims or fake claims can be there. So to avoid all those things nowadays, health insurance companies are using blockchain so that they can, I mean, they can avoid fake claims or multiple claims can be avoided. And there is another area where the use of blockchain is in healthcare industries, clinical research, and all these places they use blockchain in the healthcare industry. So this is one of the example of blockchain, how it is used in healthcare industry. The picture is not clear. So here a patient will register with a blockchain address. This is a patient. He has a blockchain address and he goes to a hospital. Let us say this is hospital is XYZ. Let us say he goes for diabetes treatment. Okay. So he goes for the diabetics treatment. Hospital name is XYZ. So he gets treated. And what the report, we have the report here. This is the report. So report will be stored in the blockchain address of the patient. So in the blockchain address of the patient, we store the patient treatment and what are the medicines given, how many days he has taken the treatment, and all this information will be stored in the patient blockchain address. And later, let us say the patient is going to a hospital ABC for some other surgery or let us say the surgery or eye treatment. Okay, so surgery or some other eye treatment, he goes to another hospital ABC. Okay, so what happens is here before treating for surgery or another treatment, the hospital ABC, here the hospital is ABC. So now they want to know what is the previous treatment he has, the patient has done for diabetes. Okay, for diabetes, what are the treatment or the medicines he has taken, when it has diabetes shown, all those things. So what they do is hospital ABC wants to access this report, medical report. This medical report has to access by ABC. So what the ABC will do is ABC will request to access the past data. So the patient will approve the access to his data, that is the past medical history data, and ABC will access this data, that the past diabetes treatment data, and the ABC will treat for the surgery. So this is how a blockchain is used in health. This is one of the example how the data will be stored in the patient blockchain address and can be used for treatment. And another machine learning or AI technique is the reinforcement learning. It is very much used in healthcare industry in terms of apps and games for various medical treatments. So here we have reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is nothing but learning from the mistakes. So here we have an agent. So here we have an agent. So the agent plays a game. Let us say he's playing a game. So he has to do some action, whether the agent or the user moves to a direction, left direction, or right direction, moving forward or backward. So based on the action, so it may get a reward or penalty. If the agent or the robot takes a positive correct step, it will get a reward. If it takes a wrong step, it may lead to a penalty. So based on that, once he moves from, let us say from this place to this place, he moves or one step. It's not like he cannot move several steps. So let us say he moves from one point to another point. Okay. So now the state has changed. So there is a state change. So every movement of the agent or the step taken by the agent or the robot, it changes the state and it leads to whether a reward or a penalty. Okay, so that is the action taken by the user or the robot. It leads to a penalty or reward, and it also gives a state change because the state of the environment changed because the agent has moved one step or backward or forward or front or left or right like that. So that is a current technique is Q learning. That is deep reinforcement learning is called as a Q learning. So what they do is they maintain a Q table and they store the states and all those things, and they will analyze the states and it will take a correct step. So reinforcement learning is used in healthcare industry. So there are one of the game called as a personal gen. It is by a healthcare industry, medical hospital. So what they do is it is a game where we have a happy face and a angry face. There are two phases are there. It is mainly for reducing the stress of the patient. So the patient has to focus on the happy face, or it's like saying the focus on the positive things. So if he clicks on the positive happy face, that is he is focusing on the positive things. If he or she clicks on the angry face, that is he is focusing on the negative things. So you'll get a higher score only when you click on the happy face. So it mainly focuses on making the patient to focus on positive things rather than the negative things to avoid the stress. So this is one of the famous game available for health disorder or mental stress and all those things. It's called as a personal check. Okay. So here we have angry and happy and angry uh, uh, faces will be there in the garden. So here the user has to click on the happy face. So the system, what the system will do is, it's not the same game for all the users. So whoever uses this game. So the game uses AI and machine learning, I mean AI technique. It changes the interpretation of the game based on the user click. So it tries to uh, give a more complicated exercises. If the person is very much more stressed on all those things, it will change the number of angry faces or happy faces dynamically so that it can able to make them to recover faster, because not all the patient will be recovering the same speed. So based on the patient or the user's behavior, it changes the activity of the game. So that is how AI is used in healthcare industry in the form of games and for mental disorder treatment. And we know about nowadays everybody is using deep learning techniques in health for medical images and all those things. So not only in medical images, we can use deep learning techniques. So they are used in drug discovery analysis to identify the new drug, and insurance fraud and analysis. They are using deep learning, and Alzheimer's disease, which is mental disorder, or they cannot remember the things effectively. So there is Alzheimer's disease, and we have genome analysis, DNA sequencing, and all those things. They are using deep learning techniques nowadays. So Alzheimer's disease is another important research area. A lot of works are going on. So here it is the disease that causes memory loss. So the reason is some growth of or I mean not a proper growth or something like that in the particular region of the memory. So to avoid that, we need to track that the brain disease early stage itself, so that they can give the treatment. So for that Alzheimer's disease, a lot of researchers work still it is going on. So where we can use deep learning techniques can be used. So it is other than the mammograms and other areas. So Alzheimer's disease also another important medical field or area where you can work on using deep learning techniques. And this is another app, similarly personal gen. So it is called as a relief link. So it is for it is not for Android OS. It is for iOS iOS Apple iPhones. And here it is number one top used uh, app in the related to healthcare industry for the iOS environment or Apple iPhones. So here what it happen, what it does is it tracks the users behavior pattern and all those things, and it will suggest whether to go for any refreshment, or you want to take a rest, or you want to go to a medical emergencies there, whether if you feel very much stressed and all those things. So it will track the mood of the mood of the user, and it will suggest the various nearby places where it can reduce the stress, like go to a restaurant, or they can go to shopping, or they can go to a healthcare or treatment when he feels very much stress or disorders. Or it also avoids suicide, any attempt and all those things if he is very much stressed. So if he feels like suicide and all those things, it will try to avoid, make them to go for a treatment immediately, or it will call the emergency and automatically, and it will make the SOS call to the emergency contacts. So this is a topmost app in healthcare industry for Apple iPhones. So these are the top companies. They work on AI techniques for healthcare industry. So nowadays, a lot of works are going on virtual assistant. So this is another area where a lot of works are currently going on. So, so Microsoft is doing for vision care. This is for vision care. Okay, and cancer diagnosis is by Google. Intel also doing for telehealth medicine, that is online based telemedicine and all those things. And IBM is for medical diagnosis and drug discovery. So IBM is supporting for the healthcare industry for drug discovery process. So already we have seen two apps, that is Puzzle Gen and Relief Link. So there is another game called as Flappy Bird game. There is a research article already published. So which this game is Flappy Bird game is based on Mario game. So instead of human image in the Mario, they use a Flappy Bird here, and they have a lot of some research papers are published, so where they mention that these games reduce the stress, and it is a already proven research article is there, so you can check that. So these are other applications of data mining for healthcare industry. There is a bioinformatics. We have association path analysis, association rule mining, gene finding, similarity DNA analysis, similarity search. So another area, important area where we can, a lot of research works are going on for healthcare industries or electronic medical record or electronic EHR. We can call it as electronic healthcare record, EHR, or electronic medical record, or EMR. So here, what they do is they use voice recognition, and they'll prepare transcript processing, and finally they create the report. So they have different templates. So why they have different templates is we have different sections in the hospital, radiology, scans, and other different sections of treatments are there. So they use different templates, and when the doctor gives a prescription and everything, the system automatically recognizes the voice, and it will converts into text to, I mean, speech to text, and it will prepare the the final report. So what is the problem here with electronic medical record is the medical terms. So since the medical terms are unique for the healthcare industry, so preparing the electronic medical records using those medical terms and identifying those things, it's a challenging part. So a lot of research works are going on electronic medical record and how to store them securely, and using blockchain or any other techniques. A lot of researchers are going on this electronic medical health record field. As already I said, virtual assistant. So a lot of current researchers are working with the virtual assistant. So it's like a mobile app which will use the reminder or track the patient treatment whether they are taking the medicines properly on the particular time, and so those things are tracked here. And it also provides any suggestions, reminder. So after a month time, so the user has to meet the doctor for any the further prescription and all those things. So everything will be done using virtual assistant. The hospital may provide a virtual assistant, so they book appointment and everything automatically based on the user preference, and it will assist the patient for the healthcare industry. So when we talk about AI in healthcare industry, so we have pharma companies or medical companies are there. So pharma companies, lot they are using lot of not only for drug discovery, so they use it for other analysis and all those things. So pharma companies will use the technology gains like cloud-based storage and all those things, and with the support of AI-based companies. A lot of companies are there which specifically work on AI technology for supporting the health pharma industry or healthcare industry. And another one like to share here is NPU, that is neural processing or network processing unit. So why I want to share is the how the not only the GPU. So now the next level of processing unit have come up, that is called as a AI chip. So it is called as a neural processing unit or network processing unit. So the first one which come up with this processor is Huawei Kirin 970, which is the first one which came up with this network processing unit or neural processing unit. So it is a faster than GPU. GPU is better than CPU, but this NPU is more faster than GPU because it supports machine learning algorithms, and for image processing and video processing, it is performs faster. It has machine learning algorithms supports are there. So these are other processor which is based on this NPU, that is Apple A11, and we have MediaTek Helion P60 and Qualcomm 845. Uh, okay, so that's about NPU. If you want to work on medical images and healthcare industry, medical data, so these are some of the data sets are available. So there is a one more open neuro or open FRMI. That is where we'll get MRI, MEG or EEG data available for freely. And it is a healthcare data to government, that is from USA government. So where you can register and can get the data. And these are other websites where you get the medical data for free. And not only on medical images, even genome analysis, microanalysis data. So and even the health data, that is in a particular area, how much disease happened and how many what are the number of population affected. So all those data can be also used for analysis. So all those data are available for free. And another parameter I'd like to share here is important metric which people are not aware of it. So when we go with any classification metrics, we use accuracy, precision, recall, false positive rate, and all those things. There is another metric that is called a CVP ratio. So which people are not aware of it, but I have used during my research. So it is very best one to compare with existing approaches. So it how it performs is what is CVP ratio is cases to variable or cases to features ratio. So here, let us take a brain tumor. Let us say we take a brain tumor images. Let us say we have 10 patient details, 10 images for 10 patients. Okay, let us say 10 patients we have different cases, 10 patient cases, and we have extracted some two features. So let us say we are not using deep learning, so we are accepting some texture feature or some other features. So we have two features here, that is two extracted features, and we have class label. So 0 means normal, 1 means cancer. So based on the data, patient data, using these two features, we have to classify them whether it is a normal image or a cancer image. So here, what is the CVP ratio here is, C is number of cases is, number of patient is 10. So 10 CVP ratio is cases to variable. That is 10 patients divided by two variables or two features. So here we have only two features. That is 10 by 2, that is 5. So that means the CVP ratio is what is the CVP ratio? Optimal value. So CVP ratio is mathematically proven that it should be greater than or equal to 4.16. It means it is a good one. If it is lesser than this value, that means for the classification, whatever the data you extracted, it is not the optimal one. So that is the CVP ratio it specifies. So during my research, we analyzed for mammogram. So mammogram is for breast cancer. So in our proposed work, we use geometric features. Okay, geometric shape-based features. So which is a new set of features which is not the literature we introduced. So here we used shape-based features, geometric features. That is 17 features are used for 300 images, 300 mammograms. This is for breast cancer. For mammograms we used. And here if you see CVP ratio, so for us it is 300 images divided by 17. It gives you 17.64. But when we compare with the literature works, so if you take this work, so they use 144 images. For each image, they extracted 280 texture features. For each and every image, they used 280 features. That means the CVP ratio is 0.51, which is very less compared to the threshold value 4.16. So that means that the feature they used is not effective one, it will overfit your classifier. So like that, we used this measure CVP ratio as one of the measure to compare with existing ones. And these are the various companies which works on different areas of AI, especially for the healthcare industry. So it's a very don't have much content for 2 hours. So I will end my session now. Any queries?
So good, sir. Very wonderful session and extremely informative. Like I thoroughly enjoyed the session actually. So we'll open the dais for participants because if they have any queries, they may ask first. So
Okay.
participants, you may please unmute and ask if you have any queries.